Hopefully it's okay if I drink some cerveza.
Hey,
But other than that, we should be
I'll
good.
tell you what, man. I got coffee here. I got water, and at some point, I might fall into the bourbon. We'll see.
I got some scotch,
Oh,
so we're good. Oh yeah. This is a triple IPA that is also aged in bourbon barrels.
oh.
Yeah, it's really good, but it is not cheap.
So
Okay.
we talk about booze for an hour. I don't care.
Yeah, we can do whatever you want, man. Oh, very nice glass. I like it.
I got it at the dollar store.
What? Okay. Well, good for you.
You can fake it nowadays, you know.
Damn right you can. You could 3D print anything.
Yeah.
Well, except crystal. I don't think that's even possible.
Well, this is not a crystal glass, I can tell you that, but it's the kind of glass that I don't mind people throwing around during a party. Good day, peoples. Hey, when the show starts off with alcohol, you never know where that's going to go. But don't worry, we're not going to lose it. We're professionals. As they say, don't try this at home, folks. Hell, we don't even do it. All right, enough with the fooling around. My next guest is Aaron Gehrt, also known as SMOKEY. SMOKEY is the repair manager for an American manufacturer called Blizzard Pro Lighting in Wisconsin. And his email signature also states that he prevents wildfires. Yeah. Well, I really don't see what I can add to that. See, that's what happens when passionate people full of humor are involved. Just be warned though, this episode might get funky. But hey, that's what the Backstage Cowboys podcast is all about. We're not only exploring the backstage universe, but we're also going into the heads of those who make the infrastructure of the backstage. So sit back, have fun, and don't forget to share the hell out of this podcast. Okay, back to our chat with SMOKEY right after this. The Backstage Cowboys podcast is brought to you by AVL Media Group and Avolights, who make the best lighting consoles in the world. If you live in Canada, you now have access to the Avolights Academy online learning platform. The cost is $229, and that includes an editor Avo key delivered directly to your door. Head on over to BackstageCowboys.com and click on the Avolights Academy logo to get all the details. Now, if you don't live in Canada, well, that means you're in another country. So if you're in the United States, head on over to avolights.us. Anywhere else in the world, just go directly to avolights.com and you'll find all the resources available in your country. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is another episode of the Backstage Cowboys podcast. Lay down and boogie and play that funky music till you die. So, let's get on with the show, I guess.
Let's get it. No worries.
So, Aaron,
Yes.
SMOKEY, what should I
Yes.
call you?
You can call me either or. Smokey makes more sense just because of my emails. But other than that, I think more people in our local industry knows me as Smokey than Aaron, so we'll just go with Smokey.
So, where did that name come from?
So a couple of years ago, we were launching fireworks at work, and just after lunch and whatever, and so it just rained. So so we're shooting off bottle rockets, and one goes into this green grass, and so like I said, it just rained, so we didn't think it would be a problem. But I guess the ground was so dry, it just sucked everything up, and it left like a 2 or 3 inches of like dried grass, and it just instantly caught fire. And so we have like 6 to 7 people standing outside just like watching this happen, and like I hear crackling, and I'm just like, is that a fire? That's a fire. And everyone's like, yeah, that can't be a fire. Oh, that's smoke. And no one just, is everyone just standing there. So I just like ran over, grabbed the fire extinguisher, ran down there and just, extinguished it. And then, well, Smokey the Bear. And then it actually, that's how I got my nickname. But in my signature, it's RMA like coordinator manager. And then it says / prevents forest fires. So I actually did earn that.
Oh, oh, okay. So there's some truth to that.
It is, yes. It was like in the fire when I got to it, it came out pretty freaking quick. So we were getting up flames maybe 3-4 feet.
Hmm.
So it would have burned really, really quick because it's all swamp in the area, but it would have. We don't like to think about that, right?
Hmm.
It prevented a little fire, so that's a good thing. We need a new fire extinguisher, though. Those things are not cheap.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you deserve that that grade, that recognition. So yeah, Smokey, fine. I'll definitely respect that. So you sent me some espresso maple syrup, something I would have
Yes.
never imagined. I have it right here. Haven't opened the bottle yet because
Great.
we made a deal that I would try it live on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get my knife out because it's late and not.
Yeah.
I was programming all day,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't do that much anymore. So for me it's like a hell of a day. All right,
What are you programming on?
Avo lights.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're the distributors of Avo lights in Canada.
Yep, I'm a little bit familiar.
Yeah, and a friend of mine was working on a show in a university, and their board op got COVID at the last minute,
Oh no.
and they had nobody to program the show, and they were really, really cut. So I said, okay, told you I wouldn't let you down. All right, let me take a day off, and I'll go program your show.
Cool.
So, oh yeah. So I got a shot glass here, and I got the espresso
Cheers.
maple syrup, and I got the bourbon in the other glass. And man, this is going to be a hell of a night.
Yeah, it'll be up for a little bit.
Cheers, man. Here goes.
Cheers.
I wasn't expecting that.
What do you mean?
It's
Yeah,
fucking
good
good.
thing or bad thing? Yeah, it's really fucking good.
Wow.
Yeah, no, Stone Creek is fucking awesome. They
Whoa.
make the best type of coffee, and like I mix it in with my own syrup when I have like waffles in the morning because I have this sour cream waffle recipe that is amazing. It tastes so freaking good. But yeah, that syrup is awesome, and
Wow.
that's only like $8, so it's
Really?
not that much. But you can mix it in with like regular syrup because it's only that little guy is not that. It won't last you that long. It's supposed to like accent a little bit of drizzle.
Well, it's
But yeah.
not that intense. It's just good. That's all it is, man. It's good.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you like coffee, you'll love it.
Well, yeah. As you can see, I got my coffee mug right next to my bourbon glass.
at 8 p.m. Yep.
I had to get myself awake before I start drinking.
Yeah, I like how that kind of works out. But yeah, you're very, very welcome. If you guys want some more, I can absolutely go pick some up.
I really appreciate that. I'll get you your beer
worries.
first.
No worries. No rush. No rush.
So, I don't particularly have any structure. I'm licking the drop that fell on my keyboard here. I think I'll just ask you what your job is right now, what you're doing. I know you're working at Blizzard Pro Lighting in Wisconsin. I'll let you explain what you do now, and then we'll work our way back or forward or upside down, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, go with the flow. I'm content with that.
So, what is it exactly that you do there?
So, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Most people who actually says whoever says jack of all trades, they always forget that half of the actual quote. But but at Blizzard we wear many, many hats. So like my job title and my main responsibility is our CRM manager. So basically working with consumers and customer questions, customer service stuff. I authorize all of the repairs, all of the warranty items um, for um, for Blizzard. So if someone has to send something in for repair, trying to purchase parts, general questions, typically I'll be the one to facilitate, to organize, and to either answer them myself or pass along to the our not very knowledgeable technicians who know a lot more about programming than I do, and anything of that nature of like troubleshooting and stuff. And then also, lately, I have like a very IT background. I went to school for networking, IT, and stuff like that. So, um, we're like the nation, like I think the biggest distributor of Novastar processors. So processors are for video wall. So
Hmm.
you being in the industry, you knew exactly what video wall is. So just giant modular TVs. And so basically, I have the expertise to like help troubleshoot with those customers, flashing firmware, flashing, getting customized walls fitted appropriately. I've go on Zoom calls probably a couple once or twice a month, just trying to help troubleshoot those types of things. I do handle all the intake and outtake for all of our warranty products as well. So something comes in, I inspect it to make sure it's all good and it's not damaged in shipping and what have you there. And then after the technicians get into all of repairing it, receiving it for credit or whatever they need to do, they give it back to me. I ship it out, and then I do small little like generic IT stuff like is why is my printer not working,
Hmm.
or managing a couple of things there. I do kind of level 2 stuff. So when we get like I've done security cameras, I do a lot of like this and that types of things because it's fun for me to like get exposed to everything and just continuously learn.
Hmm.
So that's one of those things that's nice to be working in the entertainment industry, right? Is like the same day is never the same. It's always different. And it's always refreshing that way, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
guys are I can just imagine the ambience at Blizzard, what it's like. I mean, just reading one of your instruction manuals. Uh,
It's a little bit wacky.
Now, for those
Yeah.
who have never purchased a Blizzard product, it comes with a manual, and the manual itself is very entertaining, to say the least.
The least.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of subtle jokes in there, and a few funny things, and so I can just imagine, the ambience and what the rest of the mentality of the company is, because as much as you guys are on the ball for, for service and quality checks and all that, it looks like a whole bunch of fun there. Nobody takes themselves seriously, I suppose, right?
It's a good like thing like that. There's always a good balance. You're absolutely right. If you thought our manuals were crazy, check out our YouTube. That's a interesting beast.
Hmm.
There's a lot of funny videos and some of them a little bit cringy. Like a couple years ago, we sang Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and every single person at Blizzard had like a different line in the song and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I just remember like what I was doing for like the last 3 days. So Blizzard is like a very DIY kind of company for like random things. So like I like built like workshop tables in the wood shop. I've done engraving, wood burning.
Hmm.
We have a 3D printer at work too. So lately, we got some new hires, and I have a little like 3D printed Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, and uh, they're like, oh my God, what is this? I'm like, oh yeah, I 3D printed. Oh, we have one of those here. Yeah, just need to buy the filament. So they bought some filament and they're playing with it, and I've been help training them on how to use it. And like this morning, I finished my one of their prints, and I'm just like working on stuff. Hey, do you have time to do that? Like to help me out with this? Can you look up a YouTube video and fix it up? Because I am swamped. Today was a busy day. So, and then yeah, naturally, we have a lot of fun at Blizzard. Like we have like a couple dogs there. We
Oh,
started another TikTok. We have a two, almost a two, like a one in, no, yeah, she's just turned one. 1 year old German Shepherd who's just a big old dumb dog. She is good old sweetheart though. And then we have another dog, Dory. She's like a Pomeranian little mix. She's the chillest dog ever. No, like only barks when the sandhill crane's coming outside of the window. Yeah, she's a cute little puppy.
so those dogs, they live at the company, or do they go home
Oh,
with somebody?
yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, no, they have owners and they just take them to work, so
Okay.
they don't does not live at the company. But we like everyone every once in a while will just catch themselves playing fetch with them, or whatever. Just see one of them begging for while you're eating your lunch and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Then that dog, Aya, the German Shepherd, she's strong. She is like she's like extremely determined too. So like if you have like a toy, like a rope, and you can literally spin in a circle and she like until she like gets off of the ground. She's a stubborn one for sure. But yeah,
All right.
um,
Um,
yeah.
so, if we move on to lighting fixtures, because that's pretty much
Mm,
your main product, right? Other than you got the video walls, but
yep.
those lighting fixtures, and they're
Mm,
pretty impressive. I mean, you guys are always coming up with new ideas, and so everything is designed by you guys
mm,
in Wisconsin. And I do believe that it's everything is made in China, but
mm.
it's a manufacturer that you guys deal with, right?
So we have a couple of different vendors, and so we basically um look through a considerable amount of catalogs, and then we request samples, and then we redesign it to our specifications.
Mm-hmm.
So like certain price points and what have you in that aspect. And then we redesign it, we engineer it to our specifications, and then it becomes like our product. So we only stick with a very few amount of trusted vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we're ordering things from like AliExpress, right? So
Yeah.
nothing like that. um, but yeah, we stick with a lot of like small little vendors, like people that cables. We have a lot of our wash lights and stuff are strictly through one of our factories, and then moving heads, etc. So there's only a handful, but we actually are pretty good with those. But we currently are doing the socket. So basically, have you ever heard of Luminaire?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we made a socket, which is a wireless dongle it's a DMX 3 pin or 5 pin, and it's a web-based app on your phone. And we actually assemble those here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
So we just get
I think I saw
Mhm.
that because I do have a couple.
Yeah,
So yeah, I've played with it.
the software is coming a long way because it also works with Luminaire, but it's come a long way because it's all ArtNet capabilities and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
We like for one of our company's parties recently, we asked to like make a little 45-second show or something like that with that full, just so a couple of people and staff could like get accustomed to it and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely come a long way. We're pushing that pretty hard just because of like the user. It's just the ease of ability of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's that's one of the things that we've hired some more developers so we can get a lot of our couple of bugs and a little bit more, add a lot more features to it. There's a social media side to it too, so you can share your shows to another person who has the same type of gear and everything as well. So it's like
Mm.
there's a lot of other things that are in the pot to say with socket and stuff. But
Yeah, I had an
you're
adventure with a socket. Um,
I
you remember,
remember.
right?
I absolutely remember.
I was
Yep.
trying to update to the latest firmware, and at some point you get a warning sign that says, "Well, not recommended because you have hardware version 1.1 or something
XXXX.
like
Yeah.
that." So not recommended. And
Fuck it. Let's do
technically, well,
it.
here's the thing. I mean, if I was an end user, I
Mhm.
would probably not do that.
Mhm.
But working for the distributor, I'm assuming that some end user at some point is going to try it. So,
Exactly.
and
No,
when he
it makes
calls
total
me,
sense.
I need to know what to answer. So what the hell? I tried it, and
Yep.
I was pretty much expecting that to
What your resulted was it
well,
just bricked.
I was kind of expecting the thing to crash on me, and that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
I provoked it, but like I said, I upgraded it because I could, because it didn't say you can't do it. It
Yeah.
said
Mhm.
not recommended. So
Mhm.
I thought I'm gonna play dummy here and see what happens.
No, not dumb. Curious is not dumb, and the slightest. And you're absolutely right. You guys are the distributor, so an end user is gonna happen. So you might as well test it out yourself.
Yeah,
But
well, I knew I had friends to back me up on that, so.
got you. Yeah. As soon as you said that, we're like, okay, well, send all your stock. We'll get them flashed real quick. Yeah, that's another thing we're trying to work on right now is to get like like a bin file or like a .exe kind of a file that
Yeah.
you could just plug into Windows and then just easily flash it. But right now that is not currently it's in the works. It's just one of those things that they have to get to it,
I'm
and then they have to go for it.
There's one thing I'm wondering, like something like that, where you have a DMX receiver, and you talk to it through your phone through Wi-Fi
Hmm.
with an app, and you send signals and all that, and the thing is works on its own. It's got a battery. This is wonderful. I'm
Hmm.
wondering, like right now, the communication media is Wi-Fi. How complicated would it be to have that communication through Bluetooth instead of Wi-Fi? And the reason I'm asking that is because there's people on movie sets that have a hard time with Wi-Fi because all the range is taken up, and they're having a hard time with interference. So
Yep.
so they're asking, like, if we can communicate with our stuff in Bluetooth, at least we're not crashing into other people's stuff. So how possible is that?
So Bluetooth doesn't really have that well of an effective of range. So that's one thing. Like, granted, it can have a couple hundred feet depending on how strong your antenna is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would be a good function or not in the field. That you gave a good, reasonable explanation. But I want to I'll answer your like explanation and question with an actual experience with me. And so we had um, a school in a high school or a college school in Alabama, and they installed all of their lights and all of their and the sockets and stuff. And they had about four sockets, and just imagine in football, one on each corner of the field, and they were controlling a list of arias and whatever. And they bought a tri-mesh router, and then they joined them to those, like using that as the Wi-Fi to join, right? So it's not technically it's Wi-Fi, but it's not technically like connected to the internet. It's just a local thing. And what would happen was it worked perfectly fine when they're just installing it, troubleshooting and stuff. But as soon as it got into a practical use, where the kids are or the game's actually going on, and what's going on right now is they're using a different Wi-Fi network with them, and they're upstreaming multiple like live streams. They're using like Microsoft Surfaces to communicate with like the coaches and stuff to like organize what plays and stuff they want to do. And they did that, and when they were doing that, it just caused a lot of network traffic. So it caused like a lot of interference between the two. So with my background, I thankfully they were very patient and everything and troubleshooting, and they were very good over the phone. But one of those things is you're absolutely right. There are going to be a lot of network interference around you, because on a separate network or on the same network. But if you go into the router settings, you can limit the socket to only join specific channels. So channels I in like for network purposes are very similar to um, DMX channels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot less channels. There's like 24 in Wi-Fi, but So the main channels are like 1, 5, 7, and whatever. So in between, like what? So basically, every single socket would is smart. So they would try to find the best latency and the shortest data time.
Mm-hmm.
And so and actually it would cause problems because they would just keep switching channels. So if you're making your router say, hey, these are the channels that you need to stay on, and it's the solid ones, so 1, 5, and 7. So if you have like a Wi-Fi device that's in either 2 or 3 or 4, those are on a completely separate wavelengths and they kind of blend together between 5 and 1. So if you keep them hard to 1, 5, or 7, then you will have like very low network latency. We initially started the project with them and they were like 160, 70 ping or mega or like as like a ping, which is really, really, really bad. That's like flipping up a fader and then like 2 seconds later, then it goes.
Mm.
So then that's when it triggers. So like they for a while there, they were actually used to doing that. So they would do it by hand and then like, oh, they're gonna get it, and they would just hit it a little bit early.
Yeah.
So then I basically troubleshot with them and we got it down to like 767 or something. So it's almost instantaneous. And they were saying that it was actual like they were really, really happy with. They got in trouble because it worked instantly well when they were so used to bringing it up and have that delay. So it is a lot of phones and a lot of networking traffic, but there are other ways where you can make an SSID like hidden so no people can join on it, and there always can be network interference, but if you configure it appropriately, it'll work okay.
Cool.
So, yep, long-winded answer, but there you go.
Wow, it's a complete answer. I can't complain about that. Right?
Exactly.
Hey, let's go back in time. So you've been working at Blizzard. I believe you said it was 7 years or 8 years.
Yeah. It'll be 7 years. Yep. I think it is. Yeah, 7 years. 7 years, and then it'll be 8 in July.
Okay. So how did you wind up there, and what's your background?
So I worked at a company called Quad Graphics, and Quad Graphics at the time was like one of the biggest print manufacturers in the world. I think it was like the fourth or something. They make magazines. They like have Playboy calendars, Game Informer, High Times. That was always a great one. And they misprinted a ton of the things. I was an order picker. So basically, if some random distribution company in Canada or wherever, Jim Hortons orders some magazines that they want to have debuted in their coffee shops across the nation. So they would order like say 3.5 pallets. I would be the person to pick the half pallet amongst all of the other things in their order.
Okay.
So I was a forklift operator and I was good in math. So that's what I did for a while. I was in college for a bit. And then when I was working at Quad Graphics, I was in college for networking IT. And then I was at a party from a friend that I met from school. He moved into a new place. And I was talking to one of the guys there. And he said that they needed some help. And I put in my 2 weeks and I started them. They fired me after a week, and I was like, okay. And I went to Summerfest, which is in Milwaukee, the world's largest music festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to like Summerfest 8 of the 11 days, and then I started my job on Monday. So it was great.
Wow.
I don't really have a lot of like knowledge in the entertainment industry, so I never went to school for being a lighting designer or drama or anything of that nature. It's just I kind of just like fell in their lap, and I've learned a ton and learned a lot, and definitely will continue on learning for sure. How long have you been working at AVL?
Well, AVL, it's been 5 years now.
Awesome.
But yeah, I have a funky background. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole story, but Initially, I in the '80s I was a musician, and then I became a sort of a technician. Like I was doing sound, never any good at it, but that's how
Mm.
I started, or DJing and whatever. And after that, I was working as a computer operator. Um, then I started my own cabling company back when nothing was nothing was verified. I mean, you could pull cable as long as it was low voltage. Nobody would really look
Okay.
at what you do. So
Yep.
we're pulling coax
Okay.
and twisted pair and whatnot at the time.
I punched a
And
lot of cable in my day and
yeah,
made a lot of cables even for Blizzard. Oh, we need this IP rated cable now. Okay. Strip it off. And where's the silicone? Punching it down.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Back then, we were saying, when we get old, we're gonna laugh at the days that we had to pull cable because everything's wireless now. Well, guess what? We're still pulling cable.
Yep. It's absolutely, it's one of those true, like, you will fall. It's tried and true, right?
Hmm.
Wireless can be a little bit infrequent and finicky, and cable is always can be a pain, but it is necessary.
Yeah, well, there's less cable than there used to be, but it's still
Mm.
there. So
Yep.
anyway, after that, I became a financial advisor because that's what my family was doing, and
Can you do my taxes, by the way,
well,
since I'm in Canada?
I'm not familiar with
Kidding.
American taxes.
I'm just giving you shit.
And I'll tell you
Just
what, I
kidding.
don't even do mine anymore.
Same. I
But
just
anyway,
sent mine
after
in this
7 years of
last week.
that, I've had
Mhm.
it. So I went on to be a professional lighting guy and
Awesome.
did that for 20 years. And after that, I was head of the lighting department at a shop in Montreal. And then AVL called me.
Awesome.
So, and I thought I was going to retire, but apparently not. So I'm still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's
Uh,
one thing I want to talk to you about because
yeah.
working at Blizzard, I mean, I've had the occasion to see your displays at trade shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've won prizes. I mean, and there's a reason for that. You guys have the wackiest displays. Um, man, there's the
The giant Rock'em Sock'em, like more than life size Rock'em Sock'em robots, is the one for me that will take the cake. But that was before we had video wall, so like that was really really cool. Just anyone could just jump right up there and just play Rock'em Sock'em robots with like Mod Trust. We partnered with them. They helped like we split the booth and stuff. So like the whole booth was built from Mod Trust, but it was just all Blizzard lights. And so all the programming for all of that. I remember Will, our owner, was like staying up hours and hours late at night to program. Like we had a Mod Trust like mobile above the above the ring, and he was it, he spent a huge amount of time with all of the motors and the program with to spin and make sure they spin accurately or it won't tip or anything like that.
Hmm.
But the Rock'em Sock'em robots was really cool. One of the um, promoters there, she kicked so many people's butts. It was great. She played a lot too. One of the yeah. Then we had 3 years, the year before COVID, so 2019, we had the Willy Wonka one,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. Basically, there was a little boat people would sit on, and you would get in basically into a cave of video wall, just a giant box, and the song with what was the start of the song? It's like the Willy Wonka song, like the super like dreamy song, and
Yeah.
you can hear in the background, and the video wall just starts to open up around you and just goes wacky, just cartoony like Looney Tunes wackiness with that in the background. Yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
And this last, yeah,
the after hours party that we had
oh,
during that time, during that show, one of my colleagues stole a hat from one of the costumes, and I still have it in
Okay.
my office. And I
Awesome.
do believe there's
That's
a roll of
great.
candy still taped to it.
Yeah, Joel dressed up like an Oompa Loompa. Will was the Willy Wonka or Willa Wonka in this case. Um, uh, yeah, those were yeah, that was I didn't participate in the trade show, but I've like heard so many stories and everyone from there, and I only wish I could have been there, but I have to be home. I have to be here on the day to day in order for things to go according to plan. So
Well, I guess they can't just, empty the place and send everybody off to the trade show. I mean, business has to go on, right?
yeah, yes, but come on. It is it's a lot more like quieter during trade shows because no one's like asking support questions because everyone's at the trade show.
Yeah.
Like everyone plans their events around this and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
we're
it's even cool that everybody be at the trade show because when I have questions, I'm at the trade show. Everybody's at the trade show. It's so easy to get them answered. You know?
Oh yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So
There
are you
everyone's
going
there.
to
Mhm.
yeah, another one too, the Qbert. The Qbert
Oh, that
thing.
was
That was cool.
dude. Have you ever had so this was like I swear it was so weird. So in the Qbert where we're installing our lights, well, that was really cool. But there was a specific spot. Have you ever had in truss if you had a fixture in a specific spot and you would move it a little bit in any type of direction, it would just freak out. And you've swapped out cables, you've swapped out fixtures, you've swapped out any type of thing, but there's just this weird like EMF, like ghost thing that is just in this pocket of truss that just wreaks havoc on DMX. Have you ever had anything like that?
I've had some weird stuff. Maybe not exactly as you described, but yeah, like the movement was sort of causing it, or
No, it was like it's basically like in this small amount of area, if a fixture was put in here, it would just DMX would just absolutely freak out. And we've like swapped out fixtures but if you move it like 6 inches to the right or 6 inches to the left, we're completely fine. I've never seen anything like that before. And I was just curious.
sounds like a conflict between channels.
I have no idea. It was weird.
I've seen that
It was
before. Some funky patch where the console's patched in a certain mode and the lights are patched in another mode in a way that up to a certain point it works, but at a certain point there's interference between the channels when you get to that sweet spot where channels start being crossing over one another. Um, Not saying it makes sense in this particular case, but I've
yeah.
seen some of that.
Yeah, of course. That makes absolute sense. Just get a Terminator. It'll solve half your problems, right?
You know what? I've solved a problem once with a Terminator in 30 years.
Only once?
Yeah, only once.
I get calls on that maybe like once a month and it cleans it up.
The
Interesting.
what works for me is an opto splitter. That works for
Yeah,
me. If you
but
start if DMX starts goofing off because your fixtures are leaking DMX, let's call it that way.
mhm.
From the point where you start having problems, just break the line and pull a new line from the opto splitter, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but one a Terminator spending money on a Terminator is like what, $5 versus an opto splitter plus a couple $100.
Oh, I agree when it fixes the problem, but
Oh yeah, no,
yeah.
your solution is better, but you have to provide like for in my like I'm customer service, so like they're upset that their rigs not working appropriately, and
Hmm.
might need different cables or what have you, but Terminator usually solves that, but OptoSplitter makes more sense, right?
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
all depends how beat up your lights are.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen, oh God, waterlogged fixtures. God, I've seen a lot of things. Because I used to, so like I started at Blizzard. I got a job at the shipping area and receiving, and then I moved into QC, and then I moved into tech and like repairing the fixtures, like swapping out PCBs, soldering LEDs and stuff like that. And then into the job that I'm currently at, and and then just other adding more responsibilities here and there. But working in the tech like working in tech and servicing the fixtures was an interesting experience because like just like the wear and tear that some of these people use on their fixtures is unbelievable. So I had a video wall module come in for replacement, and they thought we could repair this. It looked like a bullet hole went through this. So just imagine going down to your local Best Buy and bringing someone shot your TV and saying, "Hey, can you fix this?" No, no, it's dead. You can't. Yeah, I've dealt with video walls getting into tornadoes. That sucked.
Wow.
uh,
Yeah.
Thankfully, they had insurance, but
Hmm.
yeah, I've seen a lot of damaged product just because of either just wear and tear or neglect. But it gives you a good perspective of like being able to go in a couple of different like departments so you can kind of like wholly understand the business and what you're trying to accomplish. So
Hmm.
I liked how I kind of turned into that. Just kept on bumping up
Yeah.
like that.
I've seen movers show up at the shop filled with smoke machine muck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just
haze
completely
juice.
jammed. And
Yeah,
why isn't it working? Well, I don't know. Maybe there's.
well,
I can just imagine the rest of the room.
just draw your like finger like across the inside of the plastic, and you can just leave a streak.
Yeah.
Yep, haze juice. So it's all sugar, and it just shorts out. Yeah, when's the last time Oh, casinos are the worst because I don't know how it is in Canada, but in casinos in America, if they're most casinos have like smoking areas and stuff,
Ah,
and
yeah.
those things are gross. I'm glad I repaired fixtures like in my age because repairing fixtures when you could smoke in bars and stuff,
Hmm.
that would be gross. That
Yeah.
would be
Well,
disgusting.
we don't have much of that anymore
Of course. Yeah.
because there's not many places where you can smoke in Canada these days.
Mhm. As it should be
Yeah.
everywhere.
Which is cool. That's which is the main reason I stopped smoking in 2006.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because the thing is, let's say you're working at a convention center. So at a certain point, we had to go out on the loading dock to smoke. That wasn't too bad. But then when they really enforced the law and they said you got to go outside, so I got to leave 20 guys working there, and I'm supervising, but I got to leave the 20 guys doing what they do, go outside, have a smoke, come back, and then spend an hour fixing all the stupid stuff that happened while I wasn't there. So I figured it's either I work because I used to enjoy smoking while I was programming too. So
Mhm.
I figured, okay, I either got to stop programming to go outside and smoke, or I stop smoking and I can program. And I found it was, I was making a lot more money, programming than smoking. So
Yep. One to your health as well.
yeah, yeah. So I quit. I cold turkey
Good for
like
you.
that one night. The next morning, I was they hadn't enforced the law yet. So
Mhm.
I showed up in a club, and there was a big ashtray right next to the board. And I looked at the ashtray and I said, "Oh, if I survive this day, I'll never smoke again." And
Hey.
that day, I didn't have time to go out and buy cigarettes, so there we go. But
Oh yeah.
so technically, I quit overnight, but in real life, I'm a 5 year overnight success because I had quit many times in the previous 5 years.
Yeah, it's always the like, to get like to try to it's always about regulation, right?
Yeah.
Especially for smoking and habitual things. You always need to check yourself to make sure that you're the one in control. And smoking is not really it's very bad for you, but it doesn't really like hinder your mind or, your like processes or whatever. But
Mm.
yeah, I used to smoke I used to not smoke, and then I worked with at Blizzard, and one of the owners smoked a lot, and he caught me on Facebook once, and he's like, "Ah, you're working hard," and he like smokes like and this was a previous owner, just for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, oh, you're working hard, huh? I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then I just went out and got some pipe tobacco, and I started smoking pipe tobacco for a couple of years, and now I have like maybe 2 cigarettes a day, just like chilling. It's usually for more of like a social thing. I only smoke at work. I don't smoke anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's, eh, I can leave it if I can.
Well,
It's just more of like a.
I remembered when I stopped smoking and it was time to smoke. I used to go outside with the smokers, and because I stopped smoking, I didn't stop socializing, so I went outside anyway. But it was a funky feeling because people weren't too comfortable with that because everybody's smoking except me. I'm not smoking, and it's like they feel like they should stop. And sometimes it was an awkward situation, and I'm not there to tell you what to do, man. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's always like that. It's like, when I was really, really overweight and I'd be with somebody who had managed to lose weight. It was like, oh yeah, I guess I should do that too. And you feel you got to talk about it. No, you don't. It's your fucking business.
Yeah, we can avoid those topics, please. Yeah, no, like, because like whenever you like would go out, like I used to do that too in college. I like smoke cigarettes. I would bum one or whatever. I just go outside and just talk to them while they're smoking or whatever. And they're like, hey, do you want to bum one? I'm like, well, that's not why I'm here, but if you're offering, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just came out here for the camaraderie. I'm not trying to like get bum cigarettes and stuff from you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we were doing festivals, and I was project manager.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the Indian Reserve. I live about 10 minutes from an Indian Reserve here, and they'd sell cigarettes by the bag. They
Okay.
they were okay. I mean, sometimes there would be pieces of wood in there. I don't know what the hell that was, but your cigarette would just stop putting out smoke for some reason. But anyway, it was a bag of 200 could cost me something like $12. So
Jesus.
I'd stick one in the trunk of my car, and after the show on a festival, like at 2 a.m. when we're dismantling and everybody's starting to run out of smokes, I'd pull out the bag and I'd keep all the team together.
There's something like really interesting about how like for working on trade shows, like I haven't worked on trade shows, but I've worked on installs and stuff, and very stressful stuff like that. Where it's like you get a sense of like camaraderie and team effort at working in the shit. You know what I mean? Like when you're all like extremely tired after a show, we have X amount of minutes to tear down, and we just need to go, and just coordination. Everyone's screaming at each other, but no one's like angrily screaming. They're just trying to make sure you hear them over the chain motors and crap.
Yeah.
So like you get a sense of like camaraderie and like teamwork with that kind of thing. That's one thing I miss because we haven't, it's been live shows, so no one's been able to do anything,
Yeah.
Well, they're coming back. They always come back. They stop. They come back, but no one is at full capacity right now.
Yeah. It's funny about the noise. I was working on a movie set once, and the guys from the movie set, they said, "You guys from the live shows, you're so noisy. You guys are always screaming. You're always making noise and all that." I said, "Yeah, we got to talk over the metal noise, the truss noise, the hammering, the motors, the chain blocks, the sound checks. You guys all have in-ears, and you're all talking over walkie-talkies. I mean, of course, everything's quiet. It's a set. But yeah, it's another world."
It really is. It's like I miss those types of things. Just like straight up teamwork and just trying to get a single job done.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, when you're in that, what you were saying there, when you're a heavy job where things have to get done and everybody's dead tired and it's like 4 a.m., you're loading a truck and stuff won't fit and you got to pile everything. That camaraderie. I'm a French guy, okay? So sometimes I I say things
No,
that come out funny.
don't have to apologize. I know.
So that, I still get messages from friends who send me pictures. Like a friend of mine, not like about a month ago, sends me a picture of me up in
Oh,
a
boom.
lift,
Mm.
trying to fix something in the roof of a stage line or something like that. And he says, "You remember that one?" Shit, we went to war, man. So you make friends for life, just
Absolutely.
because something like that happened. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's special. It's hard, and what's funny is that once it's over, once you just close the door
Breaks.
of the truck and it's all done, and just before finishing, you say, "I'll never do this again. Fuck it." And once the door's closed and the truck is gone and you got your beer in your hands, you're ready to go. You're ready to start all over again.
Round two. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah, it's weird, kind of like an not I wouldn't say an addiction, but it's kind of like I don't know, it's therapeutic, right? Like it's just um getting a single project done and takes a lot of effort. You can see the effort from what you've done and what it's just it's very therapeutic. I would is a good word for it, I think.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
is. It's not easy, but if you're passionate, doesn't matter.
damn right.
It can be hard. You'll do it anyway.
Yep, damn right.
So I won't keep you
So
up all night.
no, I'm still good with talking, dude.
Oh,
If
cool.
it's up to you, it's up to you, man. But I'm still good, dude. So
Okay.
like, you had the espresso syrup, so you're gonna be up for a friggin' bit, dude.
I don't. I just had a sip, man.
So your computer job, what was that about?
Oh well, I was a computer operator. Then I turned into a computer technician. What I was basically doing was when I got hired originally, I was working for the 911 station in Montreal. Before it was called 911,
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
and I was basically doing backups on 7.5 inch floppy disks.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before that, I was entering data because those were the days where everything was still manually jotted down, and at some point, nothing was done on computers as instantly. It was all
Hmm.
entered into a computer afterwards. So all
Hmm.
the transports that we'd get, all the transport slips from the ambulance transports from either in between hospitals and whatever. So we'd get those slips where they had the arrival of the ambulance, how much time it took
Hmm.
between transports and all that. So we
How many
just
occupants?
yeah,
Yep.
we'd enter that. We would enter, spend nights. I used to work night. We were like 3, 4 guys just typing all that stuff in, not knowing where it was going or if it was going to do anything. Back when there was no internet, computers
Hmm.
were extremely slow. I
Expensive
mean,
and expensive.
you'd enter one form, hit enter, and you had time to go pour yourself a coffee, come back, drink it, and then the computer would come back, and then okay, we'll do the next one. You know,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then they'd print reports like at one time during the night, I had 4 printers running at the same time, and I was printing boxes and boxes of shit. And I thought they
Yeah.
invented computers to eliminate paper.
Oh God.
Nope, they
Yeah.
invented computers just so we could provide, we could produce more printed stuff.
Printers are the bane of anyone in IT's existence.
Mm,
I could go on forever about that, man. Some of it doesn't even make sense. As soon as they find out, like, if there was a service or a manufacturer that can get printing where it's not convoluted, it will sell and make billions.
hmm.
It's the worst things about it. Troubleshooting with people with that stuff, man. So I'm a big IT person. Where I built like many computers at Blizzard for our graphic designers, our mining rigs, and just a ton of stuff. That's one of my little niches I enjoy doing. I have my desktop is the size of a mini fridge.
Hmm.
Like it is as tall as my desk. I have like three monitors here. I'm a total freaking nerd with that when it comes to that kind of a thing. I love it. But I forgot where my train of thought is. Oh yeah, Blizzard is starting to sell like little like computer cases now.
Oh,
Through like a different company, through Proton that we created. So we're selling those things now too, just because of like kind of like diversifying, and also they're really nice like computer cases. But I don't know where I was going with that, to be completely honest with you. The bourbon beer is like kicking in right now. So AVL, they are probably like the biggest distributor for like entertainment, lights, consoles, all that stuff up in Canada,
uh,
I assume.
I wouldn't say biggest.
Okay.
Certainly, one of the major ones,
Of course.
because there's major brands. So we
Hmm.
provide GLP, Spotlight, Avo
GLP.
lights,
Hmm.
Blizzard, Sundrax. That's just in lighting. And we have we have a lot of sound equipment. We have Midas, we have Turbo Sound, we have Kling and Freytag. And a lot of that stuff we distribute throughout North America.
Okay.
So,
Even like, so do you guys get a lot of sales in the States for a lot of your stuff?
well, yeah, if you look at Midas, Spotlight is starting to be is starting to be noticed, especially in
Okay.
TV studios, because
Huh.
that's some high-end theatrical lighting, but also very good for TV. Yeah, it's picking up. We're actually going to be at Infocom this year. We have a
Oh,
booth
really?
there. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't, so like Blizzard, I know like it's like, so we had, there was a whole year without trade shows, right? So it's one of those
Hmm.
things where like, um, and as you're probably extremely well aware, those place like the trade show booths are like almost mafias, right? They're like extorting you. You
Hmm.
need one person to push the button, you need one person to plug it in. So
Yep.
like you need, yeah, a permit for the bolt and the nut and the screw, right? And
Yeah,
so we're,
especially for the more elaborate booths
yeah,
like
oh
yours.
God, yes. How many generators and how many, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's where is Infocom held? Is it in Florida or is it in Vegas?
This year, last year it was in Florida. We were supposed to go, and we had to turn away from it because it was a bit complicated traveling from Canada. It was dangerous and complicated, so we had to turn away from it. This year it's in Vegas,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
yeah, and everything's confirmed now. So I have a local company that's providing at least the infrastructure, the booth there. Yeah,
That's cool.
that'll be cool. Are you guys at Infocom?
Yeah, I don't. So that's where I was going into. I don't know. So like, we found out like during COVID, like with where we didn't have any trade shows, we're not definitely not doing a virtual trade show. Uh, so like we made X amount of money and we did really well without it, and it was very similar to not also having trade shows. So like trade shows are extremely expensive.
Yep.
I think we're going to be doing Infocom. I have no clue. It's a little bit above me. I know, like, I'm like, I hear sometimes that like certain specific people up in the Blizzard clouds, they some want to do it, some don't want to do it. Sometimes we'll partner for smaller like trade shows. We'll
Hmm.
like partner with someone to like work, we'll partner with someone, right? And
Yep.
then we'll share booth costs and we'll do a little show there. We'll send them some lights and stuff, video you all and whatever. But I don't, as of now, I do not know if we're going to have an Infocom booth. I'll talk to Frank and see what's going on with that, but
Okay.
it hasn't gotten to me yet. When is Infocom? In
June.
in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would probably start planning a little bit later. So it's probably in the like the design stage. They're going to see if they pull the trigger after Q3. I wonder if that we hit the deadline of like when you're supposed to get into Infocom.
Yeah, I think that. Well, there's the last time I looked at the show floor, there was still some spots available, but very very few, if any. And like
Mm,
we're pretty deep we're pretty much at the end of the floor, because
Mhm.
we confirmed, but everybody had confirmed before us. So, but well, we still
Yeah.
have a nice booth. Oh, it's a nice 20 by 20 island, so that works for us.
Cool. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
are you gonna just put it with like Able lights and some consoles and some
Well,
stuff?
no, Able Lights. That's Group One, I believe, in the states that take care of Able Lights. So
Oh,
we
group
don't have
one.
that
Okay.
brand in the states. So we're basically going to be displaying light wise. It'll be strictly spotlight, and then
Mhm.
there's going to be some sound stuff. Midas Turbo Sound. What was the other? Clark Technique.
Clark
Um,
Technique.
Zero
I'm not
Ohm.
familiar with them.
Yeah,
No.
I might be forgetting one. Scotch
Are
is
you
not the Scotch, but the bourbon's kicking in here too. So
feel you there? Are you going to be designing the booth, or do you have someone else doing that?
no, I designed the booth, but we have a local company that's going to provide it. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool. That's awesome.
I'm pretty much the one guy that takes care of trade shows. So
That's quite the responsibility.
well, it is, but when you've done it for so many years, I mean, for
Everyone looks up
me,
to you to do that.
yeah, for me, it's not the end of the world. Especially, but you have to work with professionals.
Yes.
That is mandatory. I mean, you can't. It has to be people who know what they're doing, who know the venue.
Hmm.
Trying to save a
And know how
dime
to
on a
take
trade show,
instructions.
huh?
And to know how to take instructions
Oh yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
like your
yeah,
hands and stuff. So you don't have to babysit them. Like the directions that you give need to be like extremely concise
yeah.
and just like simple. You know what I mean? So anyone can handle them. And you know what I
Oh yeah, 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 exactly. Well, that's at another level, because I
mean?
work with a company who take care of getting people there, who hire local staff whenever it's required. So
Hmm.
they know the rules. They know how to deal with them. They know who to talk to. I
Yep.
used to do that when I was touring. If I'd get to a venue where it was unionized, I knew I knew how it works. So I know
Hmm.
I what I need to know is who's the head person, who do I need to talk
Hmm.
to, and get your paperwork straight.
Hmm.
That is that is extremely important, because that's pretty much what happens. I mean, you just hand over your paperwork, and if your paperwork's done properly, you don't have to worry about anything. They'll take care of it, and
This is true.
they'll come and see if they have questions. But I mean, technically, everybody can read a plan. So if it's
Yeah.
well made out,
Hopefully.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
normally union guys. I mean, there's new people everywhere, right? And
of course.
there's passionate people, and there's people that are there just to make a buck. And
And people to learn too,
yeah, we know
like, of
that. But the
course.
people in charge, uh, in general, they're highly qualified people. They're experienced people. So I mean, you just talk to them, and they deal with the rest. So
Mm.
if it doesn't
Yep.
get done, then that's their responsibility.
Yeah, that's kind of nice that you like kind of outsource that.
Well, I
Because
have
like,
to, because
well,
I've
yeah, you
passed
don't.
the state of trying to do everything myself, because that simply doesn't work.
It's impossible for trade shows
Y-
almost.
Yeah, yeah, unless it's extremely small, like very local trade shows. I don't mind. Actually, um, the last time I did LDI,
Hmm.
I was pretty much alone. I'll have, maybe
Wow.
one of my guys giving me a hand to pack up, or two,
Hmm.
but I installed the whole booth by myself, but I designed it. So I designed it in a way that it's a no-brainer. I can set it
Hmm.
up in one day.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. No, I couldn't do that. Well,
Well,
I
no,
couldn't
not
design
not
for
the kind
one,
of
but
booths you guys have.
that is it is a lot. Yeah, we our last one that we had was Jeopardy and Blinko. We still have that. I think we might have sold it actually. There was a local company that wanted to buy our giant, not Plinko from Price is Right, but Blinko, and it had video wall in the background. And I think we sold to them because I haven't seen it anywhere. Either they just took out the video wall and just threw into the pyre, but I'm pretty sure someone actually bought it. Yeah, we basically did Celebrity Jeopardy. Will was Turd Ferguson. Lucas was I can't remember his name. Never mind. He's in a lot of like Adam Sandler movies. A little bit bigger guy. Whatever. He's been on SNL forever. Well, it was a good video. If anyone will listen, if whoever's listening, check it out on our YouTube page because it's kind of funny. They did a really good job with the whole like Celebrity Jeopardy SNL like bit. They did basically word for word, but it's also like their own. It's Blizzard Eyes, I guess.
Yeah, I'll put a link to your YouTube channel on the podcast notes.
Cool. Awesome. That'd be cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think it's about time to call it quits because the old man is getting tired too.
No worries, man. No worries.
But
Cheers.
Cheers to you too, man.
All right, cool.
Hey, thank you so much, man, for doing this.
Absolutely. Hit me up if you want me to on the show again a little bit later.
Absolutely. And hope to see you on a trade show floor one of these days.
I hope so too.
All right.
I hope so too.
And I swear I'll get you that beer.
Appreciate it. I'll send the label, okay?
All right.
I'll take care of the tax crap.
No problem.
Have a good one, Claude.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. The Backstage Cowboys podcast is brought to you by AVL Media Group and Avolights, who make the best lighting consoles in the world. If you live in Canada, you now have access to the Avolights Academy online learning platform. The cost is $229, and that includes an editor Avo key delivered directly to your door. Head on over to BackstageCowboys.com and click on the Avolights Academy logo to get all the details.